lovely. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Oh, hey guys.
Hey,
We're back. Welcome to Tea Talks with
Meosha
and
Irina.
okay. Today we want to talk about a follow-up on self-love
Yeah, definitely.
because it's easy to confuse it with self-indulgence.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away, my dear friend. Why are we talking about it today?
Well, we got a lot of questions, and I had a very cool, interesting phone call with someone that I know, and we were talking, and we just got into talking about that, and so this particular woman, she's in a situation where she has kids, responsibilities, and doesn't really want to. Not saying she doesn't love her kids, but she wants to live her life, self-love. And we were talking, and I was like, yeah, self-love is very important. But then I was thinking, wait a minute, there's a difference between self-love and, like you said,
Self-indulgence.
Like, being very like, I guess you could say in her situation, she's not being responsible of her responsibilities. She's like, you know what? It's my life. I want to live my life. But when she's in a situation where she has kids and you cannot neglect them, and I think a lot of people kind of, misinterpret self-love for self-indulgence, and that's what I think she's really dealing with.
Well, so the reason we wanted to talk about it is because we're all on the journey, right? And we all want to do what's best for us, and through us, what's best for others. And we have to start with us. You hear all this talk about self-love nowadays. But what I noticed, and again, because I've kind of been there myself, is when you start on the path of self-love,
Mm-hmm.
it's typically a very awkward journey at first.
Yes.
Because you confuse self-love with very much self-indulgence.
Mm-hmm.
And those two are not one and the same.
Definitely not.
Now, when they say be selfish, there is truth to that.
Right.
But what kind of truth? There's the selfish of evolving the self, meaning feeding your inner being with planting good seeds.
Right.
So whether it be reading good material, whether it be self-help books, or anything that really feeds your soul, if it's putting into yourself, right? You can exercise to get your body stronger and better. You can eat well to help your health improve. You can read material that helps you develop to a better person. So you have to choose what it is that you are inputting, whether it be mentally, physically, or spiritually. All of that requires choice, but that's where self-love is.
Mm-hmm.
Self-indulgence is when somebody takes the term of being selfish quite literally. In other words, they self-indulge in things like maybe they go drinking and call it self-love.
Right.
Maybe they go out on a trip and neglect their family and call it self-love.
Right.
Because they're like, well, I need to recharge. Well, yes, there are ways, and I'm not saying that taking a trip out somewhere is the wrong thing to do.
Right.
No. You just have to maintain the balance. In other words, like if I'm a mom and I know I have 4 children to take care of, I'm not going to self-indulge at the expense of the well-being of my children.
Right.
I'm going to put them first because that is what I signed up for when I decided to become a mom.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
neglect those.
You don't check out of that. There's no punch in or punch out card.
No. You're your mom 24/7.
Yes. And I mean, and believe me, I give myself plenty of self-love and plenty of time for myself, and my kids know it. They know when to just let me be, and they know when I'm available. And it's a healthy thing to set certain boundaries. But boundaries and neglect are not one and the same. Boundaries is when you clearly explain to your child, look, from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Mom is going to work on her project. I need to not be disturbed. But at the same time, got to make sure that that hour is busy for your child, and he or she is still is doing something,
Right.
and you are overseeing that.
Absolutely.
For example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you do set self boundaries because it's a healthy thing to do.
Very much so.
Self love goes right along with self respect and boundaries, because self respect and boundaries walk hand in hand.
Right.
You need to be able to say, look, this is my time. This is how you show self respect and self love.
Yeah.
Things like that. Because if you don't, and I've been there, all of your time is going to be consumed with the children. And of course, that's draining.
So what are some of the negative effects? Like, so, for instance, if you neglect your kids, obviously that will come back, right?
Well, yes.
In a negative way in the kids.
If you neglect the kids, you won't know the benefit or the setbacks of it right away. But what you're doing is you're cultivating resentment.
Mm-hmm.
And that resentment is going to grow and is going to develop and is going to manifest in the ways that you don't necessarily expect. They may not even realize that that's what they're doing,
right,
because it sits so deep within.
Right.
They're going to act out, and you're going to say, well, I lost control of my children. They're going to do things, be defiant, be rude, be disrespectful, because really they're crying out for love
attention.
and attention.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, you've let that train go.
Now, how do you, in the situation of the girl that I'm talking about, she has more than one. So there's this one particular one, the Pierre. He's very talented and he's doing things. So her attention and goes to him.
All the focus is on one child.
Yeah, but I'm not saying. And the other ones are a little older. But obviously they kind of feel a little. I'm sure they feel a little neglected.
Well, of course, just because they're older, I get it. They are self-sufficient, much more self-sufficient than a younger one would be. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 7-year-old. So obviously, I'm more focused on the 7-year-old. But it does not mean that my 18-year-old does not need my love.
Right.
I mean, she does not live with me anymore, and she still calls me every single morning and every single night to recount her day and how many people she pissed off and how many people she cracked up about and whatever. But my time to just listen to that is what love is.
Right.
Because that's what she needs from me.
Absolutely.
She still needs that one-on-one interaction. She still needs that connection. She still needs her time with mom, even though she's on her own. So they may not tell you, hey, I need your attention, I need you to love me, I need you to... They may not ever display that, but don't be mistaken that if you neglect giving attention, the proper kind of attention, and
that's true.
By attention I mean compassion, I mean guidance, I mean direction, I mean even just time, just one-on-one time to sit down and listen to them, what it is that's on their mind, what it is that's in their world.
Right.
It is going to feed into resentment, because they're going to feel neglected. They're going to want to blame something or someone. They don't want to blame the mom. The mom is their number one, always going to be. They're going to always find reasons to excuse mom's behavior. That's just what we do as human beings. We love someone so we don't see the shortcomings.
That's true.
So it's up to us, the adults, to try and mitigate that as much as possible. I'm not saying we're perfect at it. We're parents. We're flawed. We have our mistakes. But it's important to know that it's okay to say I'm sorry to your kid. It's okay to say, look, I may have overlooked something in the past. Let's start over.
Right.
Because that's going to humanize you. That's going to show them, you know what? She loves me enough. She respects me enough as a human being, not just as a kid.
Right.
To come and humble herself enough to show her vulnerability. It's really important.
Very important. Oh my gosh.
I think that's the key to my relationship with my children. Honestly, that's what I think.
Now,
because I know I'm being real with them.
Okay. Now, to those parents out there, or not just parents, but in this particular situation, that I care about this person, and I want them to kind of realize, hey, what you're doing is not okay. It's not good. It's not good, because it might not seem like it's a lot, like it's happening right. You don't see the effects in the kids now.
Well, exactly.
But
It all
like you
mean
said,
it all
when you get
seems
older.
like it's not a big deal. It's fine. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
But all these segments will eventually connect
Transpire,
and
for sure.
create a chain of resentment.
For sure, and I don't want that to happen. But what do you say to that person who doesn't see it that it's neglecting, or I'm living my life, I have to have my...
Well, you can't make someone see something they don't want to see. You can be
That's true.
blue in the face and say it in 10 different languages
That's
and
true.
every day. And if the person is not willing to listen, I think first thing is to, I guess, open their ears and minds, which
You just don't know.
is challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Because I've known a lot of people in my life where I would want them to hear my message, but it won't be heard. And sometimes it takes years. I mean, I hope for your sake that,
My God.
you know, if you talk to that person, you say, look, I love you and I really care about you deeply. I know your situation. You came to me and we're talking about it. Obviously, you care about it too. So why don't we look at it from a different perspective and see what we can do to make it better. We all make mistakes. I think when you put judgment aside, people hear you better.
Absolutely.
I think that's the key. Not necessarily they will, but you have better chances of them actually
Kinda
hearing
getting
your
through them.
message. Yeah. Because anytime you point a finger and an I told you so, or you're not good,
They're
or
not
what have you,
they're not talking to you anymore.
they're blind and
Yeah.
they're deaf. They're on the
Very true.
defense. They're not gonna receive any of it.
Very true.
So it's important to set the stage to where they understand that you're on their side. They understand that you're there to listen, to accept them as who they are, and you're just there to facilitate something for them to make a better choice later so that they can benefit from it.
What would you say to that? Like, say, if you're talking to this person that I know, hey,
Just like I said, hey,
I am here for you.
I'm here for you. I love you. Look, you didn't ask for this, but because we're talking about it, here's what I see. I think I, as a friend, or whoever you are, right?
Yeah.
I would say, if it's my friend, I'll say, you know what? That's what I do. I'll be like, I'm your friend. So what I'm about to tell you may sound harsh, but understand I'm doing it out of love. I love you. I think you're an awesome person. There's so many great things I see in you, but I see a greater potential than what you're giving yourself.
That's true. Yeah.
Because it's true. We all have much greater potential than what we allow ourselves to come through with.
That's true. Yeah. Very true.
So it's important to tell them, hey, I see you. I understand where you are. And I know that maybe you're stuck. They need to be aware that they're not alone. That you're right there with them. That
Yeah.
You're there to help them, hold their hand, help them up. Especially if someone who looks up to you.
Yeah.
Chances are, if they look up to you, then your opinion is important to them.
Yeah.
And if your opinion is important to them, it's really all about the delivery.
Yeah.
And you don't have an issue with that.
No. I don't. It's just, you tell this person so many times, like you said, you can be blue in the face
Yeah.
until it sometimes takes years. Like, I know this person for a long time.
But you don't stop.
I don't stop.
You don't
Right,
stop.
that's the thing. You can't
just
stop.
keep trying, and you keep
Yeah.
figuring
It's
out a
important.
different way of
Yeah.
saying the same thing,
For sure.
and in hopes that one day, and it may not be you. It may be somebody
Somebody else
in
said it.
passing saying a 3-word sentence,
Water
and
that
all of a sudden
seeds.
it clicks.
Yeah.
But you have been watering that,
Mm.
so finally it's coming to a bloom.
Yeah. That's true.
So just because you don't see any results now does not mean they won't show up
Actually,
later.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's very important for those people to feel that somebody's still got them, even if they keep failing.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah,
it's even more important.
for sure.
But it's a harder thing to do also. It's difficult. But the right thing and the hard thing are usually the same.
That's true.
So
Very real.
there's that song. Sometimes the hard thing and the right thing is the same.
No, but seriously though, that's so true. There is definitely a difference between self-love and self-indulgence, because we can easily like just get consumed in our like what things that we want and desire, and we're
Nothing
like,
wrong with
and nothing wrong with that.
getting
But
what you
there's
want.
a time and a place for everything, and
Just
there's
balance it. Yeah.
Exactly. Keep that balance. It's so about balance. You don't want to
And
get
it's
too
so
high, get
easy.
too low.
Yeah, it's so easy to lose that balance once you
Yeah.
when you indulge in what you want. It's
It
easy.
is.
We've all done it. I mean,
Of
need I
course.
bring up drinking?
Of course.
I say that's self-indulgence, and we've all almost overindulged at least once in our lives, right?
Hilarious.
So hey, forgive yourself. It is very important, actually. That's another point. Is to be able to forgive yourself for your failures and know that you're only human
And it happens.
and that just do better. And if you fail again, that's okay.
But it's gonna happen.
Do better again.
But
yes.
it's you're not perfect. No one's perfect. Even the people that are criticizing you, you know, they're saying, "Oh, I knew you do that," or you know, "Come on, that's the no." Do better.
I just say don't get stuck in a pattern.
That's it.
Don't, for example, let's take drinking as an example, right?
But sometimes drinking for some people is going to take 10 years to get over. Sometimes it'll take 5 years for somebody else, 1 year or whatever, like to like calm down and have that
the
balance.
pattern. I'm trying to explain the pattern.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, no, I hear you.
Okay.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Oh my God. You didn't make that point? I literally took the point out of your mouth.
Well, no,
Hilarious.
I'm just trying to illustrate it, so
Oh.
maybe it can be a help to see what a pattern. Because we say pattern.
Tell me, yeah.
So, like someone, if they're saying, okay, today I'm going to drink, and tomorrow I'm starting over. And then tomorrow comes, and they're doing it all over again. That's a pattern. That's like, you're not stopping. You cannot, my point is, we're talking about forgiveness. You forgive yourself,
Right.
and then the next day you do the same thing, and then you forgive yourself. That's a pattern, guys. Be careful of that. Because that's another way of self-love, going about it the wrong way.
True. Yes.
Take a step towards a change.
Yeah.
And then if
Sometimes
you relapse,
it's-
fine. Take a step again. Take a step again.
Exactly.
Yes?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was trying to say.
I agree with you. Yes, because some like you said is we take like even if it's a baby step, at least you're taking steps towards, bettering yourself. So,
Yeah, there's that word again.
there it is. It always comes.
For me, for example,
Mhm.
I have things that I want to have in place to be more disciplined,
Yeah.
more on top of my game, to have more routine in my life. And I still am struggling with it too.
Mhm.
I'll do it for a period of time. I'll be so good at it. And then boom, something happens. Maybe I had a day off or whatever. And before you know it, the whole routine is gone.
Gone.
Usually that happens for me around the summertime when all my kids are home. Things change.
Yeah.
But instead of fighting with myself and self-beating up, if you will,
Yeah.
I tell myself, you know what, I'm just going to roll with it. And I'm going to get back on it. I'm going to get back to my priorities.
Yeah.
But right now, these priorities are taking a backseat because of something else. And I'm okay with that.
Right.
That's how I
Absolutely.
forgive myself.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'm going to get back to it anyway. I can't go long enough without having to get myself back in order and tell me, okay, enough. You got to behave now.
Right.
But not everyone's like that. For some, it's better to just get their grip and not let go.
True. Some.
Some, because as soon as they let go, they don't have an ability to grip on again. So you have to know your personality. You have to know what kind of personality you possess in order to make the choice for you.
Right. The right choice for you. Exactly. That's good. That's good too. Thank you.
So,
That's good.
Yeah, sure.
I hope that helps you guys out there.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's kind of like,
that's the gist.
yeah. Yeah.
We love your comments.
We love
We
it.
love your questions.
Thank
Keep
you.
them coming. Give us scenarios. We'd love to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hey, we're here for you
We're here for you.
if you want it. Subscribe, comment, share. We love it.
All that good
We love
stuff.
the engagement. Keep them coming. And remember,
The
better it gets,
the
the better it gets. Until next time. Mwah.